Okay, in this video we're going to go over a little bit of a conditioning exercise. What I want the dogs to learn that if they hear a knock at the door, they should go to the dog beds. So what I'm going to do is, I got our training apprentice Nolan over here is going to help out. And so what I'm going to do is, when I nod my head, Nolan's going to knock, and I'm going to drop a treat on the bed. I haven't done this with the dogs yet, so I don't know exactly the timing, but I'd like basically the knock to come, and then the dogs are going to the dog bed. So tossing treats is a good way to get dogs to move, or movement is a good attractant for dogs. They're just very attracted to it. It's going to catch their eyes. Thirsty work, so we got to give her, this is Miss Belle, by the way. We got to give her a chance to catch her breath. Yes, Miss Belle. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is, first I'm just going to load her up just by going here. What's your marker word?
Bed.
No, yes or good?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So I'm saying yes when she steps in the bed. All right, now Nolan, I'm going to have you knock when I nod my head, but I want one single knock and a pretty light knock. All right, ready? There you go. And keep doing this. We're going to do this a little bit louder each time. She's lingering, which we love. That's really where we want to be. We want the knock to come, and then I'm tossing the treats. I was doing it at first because I wasn't sure how she was going to react. I don't want her to go over there. That's why we were doing a very light knock. All right. And I guess I could be marking, or should be marking. It's okay if you don't mark. All right, let's knock 2 times, or let's keep on knocking a little bit louder. And if she stays there, don't do what I just did. Let her stay there. Let's see if I can. Let's see how far you are. This is very early to do this, but let's see this. Yes. Yes. Oops. You dropped 2. There you go. That was on you. I put them in your mouth. All right. Yes. Yes. See, now she's going into a sit. What we're doing is just conditioning her. So if she hears this sound, go here, get a treat. That was a little bit early. We usually would like the sound to come first. Now you notice at first I had the treat in my hand. I was tossing the treat, and then I had the treat in my head to lure. But now I'm able to just kind of point. And after enough repetition, what we'd like is her to naturally go there on her own. See, I'm using your word. Yes. So you try to say yes when she goes on the dog bed, not when you get the treat like I just did. Let's do that one more time. Oops. Yes? Well, actually, I was marking it first for 1 step, but now let me show you the final version. So go in terms of marking. Yes. So I'm waiting for a sit. She technically doesn't have to sit, but sitting and laying down is an indication the dog's pretty comfortable. So what I'd like you to do is grab about 5 or grab about 20 treats. You can use pieces of kibble for this. And you can knock anywhere, but the knocks are going to emanate from here, so it kind of is better. Now, if you notice when we started, it was a very light knock. And then I was kind of tossing the treat and having him knock right as I was tossing the treat. But technically what we want is knock, then I toss the treat or lure the dog onto the dog bed. Then we say the marker word either for 1 step, eventually 2 steps, 3 steps, but eventually for a sit or a down on the dog bed, then we reward the dog. Eventually what you're looking for is there's a knock at the door and the dog runs over and sits on the dog bed. And then you go over and give the dog a treat. And then I'm going to show you something off. Well, I guess I go through it right here. So once she's here, and we're going to show you the relaxation protocol off camera, but eventually you'll be doing the same sort of thing. So what I'm doing is I'm walking the door in stages. And I'm coming back, so she's staying there. Now, if she starts to get up and I take the 2nd step, that means I should only take 1 step or 1.5 steps. But eventually I want to be able to have her on the dog bed, turn my back to her. You notice the first couple times I walked away this way, then I walked away, turned to my back, go and touch the handle. And then when you touch the handle, to get close to the door, that's harder for her to do this. So this might take a lot of repetitions. It'd be very similar to the relaxation protocol we're going to show you. But eventually you get to the handle and you touch it, and then you come back and give her a treat. Then you jiggle it very lightly, come back and give her a treat. Then you eventually work up to jiggling it really loud. Then you're going to jiggle it and turn it and pull a little bit, and there's going to be that suction of your door. And just a little bit, close it, come back and give her a treat. And at any point she gets up, that's not what we want. We want her to stay there on the dog bed and recognize, if I just stay here, my human's a weirdo. They walk to the door back and forth over and over again. They jiggle the door, they open the door a little bit, they come back. And when you get to open the door, first you're only opening it this much, then this much, then this much. Eventually, the whole thing, when you go to opening the screen door, the door is fully open, you jiggle the handle and then come back and give her a treat. You can leave the door open, I guess, at that stage. Then go back, close the door, come back, give her a treat, open the door again, jiggle the handle, come back. Eventually you jiggle the handle, and when I get to the point, the way your dogs are positioned, the beds are positioned, they can't see the door. So eventually I'd go over there with, hey, how's it going? Oh, that's what they normally do when people come. That's going to cause excitement. But there's nobody there when you're doing this. So the dog runs over, they see there's nobody there. You would tell the dog to come back here and reward with a pet. Do not give a treat if the dog gets up. But eventually you want to get to the point where the knock happens, dog comes here, you come over, you could give a treat, I guess, at first. After a while, you wouldn't have to. You'd say, maybe a pet, go over, open the door, your guest comes in. Now let's talk about the guest. When you do have a guest there, after you jiggle the screen door, then you open that one a little bit and close it, come back and give a treat. Keep on doing that until you can open that screen door all the way with the dog staying here. Don't have a guest outside until you get to the stage for any of these other, anything we just talked about. Eventually what you do is now you have your guest, and you say hello to your guest, and your guest says hello, but the screen door is closed. Come back here and give the dog a treat. So now the dog knows somebody's there. Eventually you're going to open the door and the person's going to come inside. Now this is going to be hard. This is a really hard stage. So that's why prefacing this by getting your dogs an exercise, letting them calm down, will really help take that extra energy out. This is something that's going to take a lot of practice sessions. I practice in like 1 and 2 minute practice sessions with each dog 3 or 5 times a day. And there's no guest there at first. By the time you get to a guest, you've already gotten it achieved. You can put the dog here, the knock makes the dog go here, you go and open the door, open the screen door, your guest comes inside, and I would have them just stay right outside your little overhang of your wall. They can't see the guest. So have the guest kind of sneak in and just be, and no big exaltations or greetings. Guest just kind of comes in, you walk over, give the dog a treat, and then you could theoretically just, let me see if I can block this a little bit better, be giving her treats as the guest walks in. And when I do that, I would probably have you do that with each other. If it's a regular guest, I don't get to see you very often. Yes, Miss Belle. But if there's a couple here. So if the couple practices with each other, yeah, I mean, I love you, but I see you all the time. So it's easier for the dog to do it. And eventually then you have the guests come in and the dog, what we've done is we've taught the dog how we want the dog to behave when there's a knock at the door. Most of the time there's a knock at the door, we go to the door, we're trying to kind of do a weird motion to keep the dog away, and there's 2 dogs here, and they're getting cascading off of each other. That makes it much more difficult. So I practice this with the dogs separately until you can get to the pack where you can get to that screen door opening with each dog separately. Then I would do the whole exercise again with both dogs at the same time, because it's gonna be a lot harder. This is it's not complex, but there's a lot of little steps and minutia to it. So I know it's more convenient to do it both at the same time. This one, try to do it separately because it's gonna make it so much harder for you guys. You're gonna be frustrated, you're not gonna make as fast progress. Let's face it, if we make faster progress, that's gonna be invigorating for us. And eventually you get to the point, there's a knock, the dogs come over here, you go. Now we also have a doorbell sound, a smart doorbell. You do the same exact thing. You trigger the doorbell sound and then lure the dog over here and give it a treat. So that doorbell sound means eventually you'll be in the kitchen, somebody rings the doorbell, your dog's going to sit over here on the dog bed and be like, this is what I've been taught to do. You get to go open the door, your guests come in, and your dogs are nice and relaxed. All right, Miss Belle, we have to sign off this video. Sit. Can we see your face? That's kind of your focus. This is my buddy, Miss Belle. And these are some tips that you can use if you have a dog that's too excited and likes to run up and jump at people at the door.